Welcome to Rate the Death Battle Season 8! A thing that I've been meaning to get to since the end of Season 8 last month, but people haven't been able to make a tier list. So finally, someone in a server that I'm in, Fiction Rumble that is, gave me a tier list, and I can't thank them enough. So I'm going to shout them out right now real quick before I begin this Rate the Death Battle. Big shout out on the Fiction Rumble Room Discord server to Jokey999. Thank you for the tier list. I had to adjust it on my behalf so I could actually make this work. So, if you don't know how rating stuff works, we score it by a system of points, where the points don't matter and that everyone can express their opinion. Also, if you're wondering what the hell the triple S rank is, you'll see where that... There will be certain obvious ones rated, obviously. So... And there's a reason, and I will even explain why I put it there. Now, without further ado, which of course, before I begin this, I am going to also share and I'm live with Rate the Death Battle. So let's do this thing. Anyway, I need to make sure. Okay, so, what I need to do is copy this and paste it in self-advertising, and then self-advertise, self-advertise, self-advertise. Okay, and plugins. Alright, and go to the noob coffee drinking noob server. If I can find it, there it is. And doing 2 streams tonight. End of Dragoon. Okay, now that I shared everything out of the way, also I'm going to share this on my Twitter real quick. And yes, finally, hey, look at that, the Marvel Nemesis Rise of the thing is done. So, anyway, alright, so, now with that out of the way, let's begin the Tormentuous Torment. So, starting with Yoda vs. King Mickey. It did a fantastic job. It did everything that I liked. It referenced a lot of Star Wars stuff. It referenced a lot of Kingdom Hearts stuff. And I just recently finished the Kingdom Hearts Legacy. So, and of course this is a very big rating. So what we're gonna do is on the letter rank, we'll give this a double S is 11 out of 10, which I'm not listing it because that was a long rating to begin with. So anyway, we'll put this at a 10 out of 10. Next is Shadow vs. Ryuko. 3rd time's a fucking charm. And about time we got a redemption for Shadow, because, let's be real, Shadow versus Mewtwo did not need to happen, and the way they treated Shadow in that episode was terrible, and Mewtwo, I would love to see fight Tetsuo, so I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. Not close to a 10 out of 10. I should probably also label this as 11 out of 10 as well. That way we got ourselves a proper ranking system. Anyway, we all know it. It's unavoidable. This episode, next episode, sucked royal ass for certain reasons. 1, Lex did not need to come back. 2, Doom could have fought Gilgamesh. And the only thing that saved this episode from being a 1 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10 was the foot dive! Foot dive! The spamming of the foot dive, aka the Marvel vs. Capcom reference, so this bitch-ass episode sucked. It is a 3 out of 10. Don't try to debate me, you know it's true. We could have had Gilgamesh versus Doom. Alright, now, to get the elephant out of the way. Since I already know how Sean is with this particular episode. Get the biggest elephant in the room. I give it. So yeah, to make Sean happy, and to make him not as angry, I'm gonna be as neutral as possible. I loved it, I hated it. So, we're gonna put you at a 5 out of 10. Blake versus Mikasa, my first loss. Let's see, I didn't know much else about Blake outside of the season where Yang lost her arm, which was my fault, and that's why I was going with Mikasa, because I knew a little bit more about her, and yeah, we all know the song dance, so I'm gonna give that a 8 out of 10. We're gonna give that one a B rank. Oh, we already know where I'm putting Iron Fist versus Poe. We're putting that at a 11 out of 10. Double S. Okay. Steven Universe versus Star Butterfly. While I'm not familiar with all the characters, then 7 out of 10. Don't try to debate me with that one. I mean, I went with Steven Universe. I was not familiar with Star Butterfly. But it's not a bad episode. It's just I lost that one. So we already know where Link versus Cloud is going to go. And so far, I think this should be a 12 out of 10 for a reason. It got everything that I wanted exactly right. So you know what? Link versus Cloud round 2, 12 out of 10. 12 out of 10 for the Link versus Cloud round 2. Congratulations. You get the triple S rank. And there is another battle that also deserves this rank, which we will get to in a moment. Now, the battle I did not want. Batman versus Iron Man. Now, this episode took a lot of convincing for me to actually tolerate it. So, I'd say this one gets an A rank, so this one's a 9 out of 10. It's not close to a 10 out of 10, it's up there. But now that Batman had his fucking fun in the spotlight, it's time for him to retire from Death Battle and actually bring someone else in. The big thing that helped it was also the music, because it also sounded like AC/DC. Anyways, we already know what this one is. I love this episode. This episode was fan-fucking-tastic. Reverse Flash versus Goku Black, 10 out of 10. And next is... Ooh, yeah! Sorry, I had to do that. I had to do the Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh, yeah. The cream will rise to the top, man. Oh, my God. Anyway, so yeah. Anyways, next, oh yeah, Macho Man vs. Kool-Aid Man, definitely an 11 out of 10. That one was like the best up there. It's not 12 out of 10. You'll see what the 12 out of 10 is in a moment. Alucard vs. Dio, okay. I was happy. The references didn't make me mad. The references actually made me like the episode. Was I sad that Alucard lost? Yes. But I didn't hate Alucard vs. Dio. So, we're gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. Now, this one, I'm debating on lowering the score, but it was clunky. It just didn't feel, it did not feel as smooth as Link vs. Cloud Round 2. And yet it was the same team too, which is really sad. So I'd have to give Akuma vs. Shao Kahn a 6 out of 10. That's low ground. Now, this one I am going to give. Next is Korra vs. Storm. This one, okay. Well, I loved it. Definitely a 10 out of 10. Next is Madara vs. Eisen. I was Team Madara, and I loved everything about this episode. Definitely a good soundtrack. Definitely a good representation of the characters. Definitely another 10 out of 10. Definitely an 11 out of 10. Now for Sidoma vs. Popeye, the big one that I gave a 12 out of 10. There's a reason for it. It got wacky. It got wild. It got me hyped. It got me impressed. And you know what? Don't try to fucking debate me on this. 12 out of 10 goes to Popeye vs. Sidoma alongside Link vs. Cloud. And thank you for the follow, Jokey. So yeah. Okay, I forgot to bring my chat feed over next to me, so I'm gonna read the comments. Star vs. Steven was underwhelming as someone who has seen both shows. It was one of those ones that I loved and I hated, but it was like a 7 for me. It wasn't as impactful. Batman vs. Iron Man, I really did not need Batman to return, but what helped it was definitely the music. It sounded like AC/DC. And, sorry, was that important? Oh my god. Time, huh? Thanks for that. Ow. Okay, Shao Kahn vs. Akuma was dull. Yeah, it wasn't as good as, It was not as good as, Link vs. Cloud Round 2. Korra vs. Storm was definitely good, Madara vs. You didn't know Madara or Eisen? I definitely recommend watching both their shows. It's actually, they're actually pretty good shows. Definitely a lot better than some other things, like certain live-action adaptations of Death Note and shit. But yeah, definitely recommend watching those. So yeah, as for Sidoma vs. Popeye, loved everything about it. It was so fucking wacky. I loved everything about it. The most neutral ranking I gave was Heihachi vs. Geese, mainly because of a certain friend of mine who is a diehard Geese fan. And he would have probably hated me if I gave it like an 11 or a 10 or higher. I couldn't see him like that. He would have been disappointed if I gave it that. So the most neutral I gave it was a 5 out of 10. What was the least favorite episode? Well, it's obvious right there. The 3 out of 10 episode being Lex vs. Doom. I really don't care for Lex vs. Doom. I really don't care for Lex vs. Doom. Lex vs. Thoughts on Season 9 reveals? I'm excited for everything but Vegeta returning. Maybe not so much for Boba Fett, because I even talked about, why I hated Boba Fett versus Predator, and I don't think it's a really good matchup. So anyways, that was my rating of, Death Battle Season 8. I'm definitely going to, save and download, and I will post this on, Twitter later. I will definitely post it on Twitter later, and I am going to share it in the Fictional Rumble server. Also, if you're wondering how I came up with the thing of how I rate the scores, it's basically where the points don't matter and everyone's entitled to their opinion. So, yeah, that's how I came up with it, so in case you were wondering. Seeing Dio card next to Mikasa vs. Blake physically hurts me, but your opinions are your opinions. I mean, it's not up where, the others were. I mean, I was sad Alucard lost, but what helped save it was the references. I couldn't be mad at it, because there was a lot of references to both shows. Now with this done, now with all this out of the way, I can actually move on to more Legend of the Dragoon. So, yeah, that was... I hate Blake versus Mikasa. Definitely Blake versus Mikasa was one of those ones that... it was... And... yeah, Blake versus Mikasa was one of those ones I really didn't care for. I mean, I was on Team Mikasa, but yet I lost that one. Because I was hoping Blake would lose, because I've seen how Persona works, and I knew Persona characters were broken. I'm like, if Mikasa could break Blake's semblance, she has it in the bag, but turns out she is not as powerful as a, Do I plan to do a rate the episodes with every Death Battle template? Of course, I'm definitely going to be doing that. I already did the first 7 seasons already off stream, because at the time I was in the one server, but I'm not now, and I'm not gonna get into the complicated mess that was, because let's just say it was a complicated mess. But like I said, the Lex vs. Doom would have been a 1 or a 2 out of 10 if not for a certain reference. If it wasn't for the foot dive, that episode would have been lower. That episode would have been the lowest rated one for me. Because, let's be real, I did not like Lex vs. Doom. Even though it was and for Curbs, when it comes to curb stomp matches, I want them to be enjoyable. Not so obvious that it's not even worth enjoying. So, yeah. Anyways, I am now going to... They have a template for every episode before Season 8. I can send you it later if you want. Like I said, I did rate the episodes. Back prior, I would have to re-rate them again because I lost all my, the file that I had. Since that whole mishap in the one Death Battle server. So, yeah. Like I said, I will rate Season 9, don't worry. As for battles that are gonna come up for Season 9, I just hope Tetsuo fights Mewtwo and not Magneto, because there's no point in pitting him against Magneto. I would rather not see Vegeta, but judging by how Vegeta's gonna probably return, he's gonna probably either fight Zod or fight Thor, and it's gonna be a total curb stomp, and I'm not gonna enjoy it. See, here's the thing about curb stomps. They have to be enjoyable, otherwise, they're lame. Some of them can be lame. Like, Lex vs. Doom was a big curb stomp, and it was lame. Like, there was no need for pitting Lex Luthor against Victor Von Doom. Like, there was no need for that. Like, the biggest curb stomp, the two curb stomps I did enjoy were Reverse Flash vs. Goku Black and Popeye vs. Sidoma. Like, those were the biggest two curb stomps. I will admit I did enjoy Iron Man vs. Batman, but I did not like the fact that Batman had to return for a fourth to fifth time. Let's see. Batman vs. Spider-Man, Batman vs. Captain America, Batman Beyond vs. Spider-Man 2099, as the backup, as sidelines, Batman vs. Black Panther, and then Batman vs. Iron Man. Yeah, 5 times. Bruce Wayne did not need to return for a 5th time. So pretty much after I enjoyed it, I'm like, okay, Death Battle, you had your fun with bringing Batman back for a 5th time. Time to give the dude a break. Like, time to give Bruce Wayne a break. So, I will admit that. Bruce Wayne did not need to return for a 5th time. See, Dio vs. Alucard, I did enjoy it, it's just not up in the 10 rank. But yeah, I already picked my 2 big favorites of Season 8. And when it came to Link vs. Cloud Round 2, they did their fucking math. They did their research correctly. Like, unlike the first season with Link vs. Cloud Round 1, which I did an entire playlist of hype streams hyping up that battle. And believe me, one of the first things I did for the hype stream was literally revisiting the old Death Battle. And it was not good. It wasn't good. I will definitely say that much. So anyways, that was it for Rate the Death Battle Season 8. I will put an image on screen. That way you can see my ratings. At least now I don't have to deal with all the bullshit. I will even... And if you really, really want me to rate all the previous seasons 1 through 7, I will literally do that on stream. It will take me a while. But, yeah, I got nothing else to say of this, so it's definitely the perfect rating. I'm definitely going to share it on Twitter later. That way they'll see my opinions as well, and I'll even tag Red Runner. I like discussing episodes. If you've got time, so do I. I'm open to discussions for future episodes. Of course, it'll be complicated because I've never done it before, so it'll be like the first real proper discussion video that's not including me talking about who I think is gonna win. But yeah, now I'm gonna get ready for the Legend of the Dragoon stream. That way, I'm not spending too much time on this, because I know Death Battle Season 9 is gonna come around in March, which is gonna be a hefty wait. So hopefully I get to see like Tetsuo vs. Mewtwo, Boba Fett vs. Wolf from Star Fox or Star-Lord. I'm okay with anything but Predator. Predator should fight Arbiter, in my opinion. There's really no need for him to fight Predator. As for the other characters, I don't know. I forget what they said in the comments. Honestly, I still think Vegeta should not return, even though I know it's going to be a curb stomp and it's one I'm going to not enjoy. And I even literally went out of my way. And if you miss... If they're gonna fuck it up, I already know they are. If it is Predator, they're gonna have to be precise with their fucking research. Cause you can't just choose one Predator and call it a day. Like, if they say, oh, Boba Fett versus Predator, if they're gonna do Predator, I recommend I better hope and pray they do the fucking comics justice. If it's Scarface Predator, then that one I can tolerate. But there's multiple... I definitely will recommend checking out my, video regarding why I hate Boba Fett versus Predator, and I don't want it to be Boba Fett versus Predator. And it just doesn't make sense. The connections are not there. And I'm going to go to my channel and pause this damn intro thing. Where's Boba Fett? Here. I'll even share it in the Fiction Rumble server. That way, if you didn't see it before, I will. I think I shared it before. Did I? Where the hell is it? I gotta scroll past all the spam of messages like a madman. Ah, here it is. There it is. I'm gonna pin that somehow. Is there a way for me to pin? No, I can't. I recommend scrolling up. If I have to, I can even send it to you privately that way. That way I'm not having to hunt for this damn thing again. So, here. I'll tell you what. Make it easier for myself. I'll send it to you in a message. There you go. That way, you can check that out. Yeah, I know. I know I shared it a while ago, but I figured I'd send it to you in direct message. That way, it's not so convoluted. So, anyways, I'm gonna get ready for a Legend of Dragoon stream. That way, if you talk, we can still talk about Death Battle. We can talk about anything. I'll talk about anything on stream. So, anyways, I'm gonna get all that set up now. So, let's move on to Legend of Dragoon.